What's up, everybody? I know it's been a minute since I've posted, but as you can see, that mini excavator is here, or well, it's almost here. It's going to be coming down that road in about 15 minutes. So I am so pumped for it to get here. It's been long overdue. I've wanted one of these for a very long time, and we'll get into why I think this particular mini excavator is so cool. We'll dive into it, we'll play with it, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun. I think we'll make plenty of content with just this piece of equipment for the rest of the year, and let's just get it. Let's just get that thing in here. Holy cow, it's here. This thing is so cool. As you can see, I went with the KX-040, and we'll go into why I think this thing's so cool, but he's unloading it. They just dropped this thing off. He had about a 2-hour drive he saved me. And this thing is perfect. I'm so pumped to use this thing. All right, guys, here it is. Oh, I'm so pumped. Oh, I cannot wait to play with this. So, as you saw, this was just dropped off. The guy who I bought this from, I found him online. I searched all over the tri-states for this machine. This is the exact machine I wanted, down to every little feature on it because of what I'll be using it for. So, as you know, I have the rental equipment that I rent out, like my skid steer, I rent out my dumpsters, I rent out my shipping containers for storage. So I'm in the rental business, but I also wanted this for my own personal use, as at least as my first mini excavator. As I get more, it'll, you know, for different needs, we get smaller ones for landscapers, etc. It'll be a little bit different, but for my first one, I kind of wanted to be multi-purpose, something that I could use and something that I could rent out. That's why I chose this one. It's just a beast. So I was debating between this and the Kubota U35. That's kind of what I was debating between. The biggest difference between this and the U35 is, well, first off, this is a 40 horsepower machine. The U35 is only about 24 horsepower, and this has a little bit of tail swing. So what that means is basically this part right back here, this counterweight, will swing over the tracks, and then it'll probably be, you know, a foot or two outside of the tracks. The U35 is a smaller machine, but it has no tail swing. So basically when it rotates, this cab actually stays within the tracks, which is a pretty cool feature if you're using it for really small stuff. But in my case, where I'm demoing things like garages and mobile homes, which we're really going to be pushing here in 2023, is I need something that has just a little bit more grunt, and this was it. The other thing I like about this machine is it's about the biggest machine you can get, at least from Kubota, before you need to get a much bigger trailer and possibly even a CDL. And even though I have a CDL, I don't necessarily have a much bigger trailer, and I don't have a need for a much bigger trailer other than to transport this. I would like to get to the point where we can transport this and my skid steer at the same time. So that's a whole nother discussion. But what I'm saying is this is a just under 10,000 pounds. I mean, literally just under. And this is my 14K axle trailer. So, and it's a tilt deck. So this thing will fit right on here by itself. No problem. Just like my skid steer in the garage here does. But this is pretty much ideal for everything I need. So let's get into it and let's play with it a little bit. One of the main reasons I actually got this piece of equipment was because it is super simple. So I knew if I was going to rent it out or if I was going to have employees use it, I didn't want like the Cadillac of iPad touchscreens and all kinds of other stuff. I wanted it to be, you know, stupid simple. You've got your basic back and forth controls that you can also use with your feet. You've got, this will actually move the arm left and right. And then you've got your controls here for, you know, the bucket and the actual boom itself. But there's some really cool features on this, and I know I keep saying I'm going to play with it, but I'm trying to show you guys who have never used one of these before how just awesome these are. One of the biggest things they tout about this machine is it's not a fixed blade. So this actually is a 4-angle blade, so you can basically left, right, that way when you're pulling debris you can actually just pull it right up against this thing like a bulldozer and then push it when you need to. So when you're tearing down something like a garage, you can tear down the garage in front of you and then basically push it with this blade. These things are also what you're going to be using to stabilize the machine. You're going to anchor that down before you swing around and you start digging. But this thing, I don't even know what to tell you guys. This thing is just so cool. I cannot wait to make some money with this thing, and we need to make some money. because it's expensive, and I now need to justify the purchase, not only for myself, but my wife. It's kind of like, why are you buying this thing? So we definitely need to now prove that we can make some money with it this year. Last thing I'll point out before we start playing with it is you'll notice it kind of looks used, just barely. I'm not the first person to put a scratch on this machine. You'll see a couple little things here and there on the counterweight. You got, like, you know, it looks like it brushed up against maybe some trees or stuff. But this is actually how I saved a whole lot of money, over 10 grand. There are only 70 hours on this machine, and it was never rented or abused because this was actually the company's demo machine that they would take to things like trade shows, or they would show off to people on the lot. The most this machine ever did, which I actually have pictures of them doing, was pull out a mulberry tree or like a mulberry bush with the bucket. So this thing has not been used very hard at all. But at the end of the day, I got very, very cheap financing. It's something like 2% for, you know, X amount of months. And then I also got the full warranty. So even though this has 70 hours, I ended up saving over 10 grand on the purchase, and I got all the same benefits of buying a perfectly new machine. So definitely worth it. I do recommend people, when they're going to be renting out equipment or heavily abusing equipment, to buy something newer that has a warranty. And then, you know what, at the end of the day, when that warranty's expired, or you've met the amount of like useful life hours before you need to do major repairs, sell it and then buy another one. You made your money, so why don't you make your money back by selling it at a still reasonable price, resale price, rather than holding on to it, pouring thousands of dollars into repairs, and then turning around and not making as much money when you actually need to upgrade eventually. That's just my personal opinion. That is what I've been told from many people who rent these machines out, is never to hold them for too long, or you will end up seeing your margin of return from renting it just start to absolutely decrease because you're spending too much time repairing the machine rather than renting it out and making a profit. So that's just a little thing. I know some of you are probably going to notice, be like, why'd you buy a machine that's brand new and it's got some scratches on it? Well, that's why, but at the end of the day, 100% worth it. All right, so let me just confess right now. I never have ran a mini excavator. I bought this thing sight unseen. As you saw that guy drop it off, I never have ran one of these, ever. I've never seen this machine other than in pictures. Like I said, I searched the tri-states. I knew exactly what I wanted, but I didn't get to see this thing in person. So this was a major purchase for me. I guess at the end of the day, I didn't see my skid steer the first time I bought it, and I'd only ran very, very small, like track loader type machines before. So even the skid steer was a big deal for me when I first bought that. But this is a whole new ball game of things to learn. But at the end of the day, I know what I want my business to be. I know the equipment I need for it. And you just got to make the jump sometimes and figure it out. I sat in this thing for, 10 minutes so far, and it's really not that hard to use. I'm very impressed by how intuitive something like this is. If you just have basic motor controls and you've ever played a video game in your life, you can drive one of these. And that's pretty much why you can also rent one of these from any rental store. So everybody loves to fly past my shop. But let's go ahead and play with this thing a little bit more. Said, don't make fun of me. All of you guys who've ran like a million of these and for your whole life, don't make fun of me, because this is literally my first time ever using one, and I'm already playing Tetris with some refrigerators and appliances. It's so intuitive to use. I'm super pumped. Like I said, we've had this machine for less than a half hour. First thing I did was strap a GoPro within minutes of having it, and then we're already, you know, doing this. This is probably pretty easy to do for a lot of you guys, but I was, you know, I'm pretty impressed for somebody who's never touched one of these in their life. But I mean, the goal is going to be able to take apart literally inch by inch buildings and, you know, mobile homes, and doing all kinds of really delicate work with it. So it's going to definitely take some practice. Having never had one of these before, I can definitely see there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, because even though I have the skidster and the controls are kind of similar, you definitely have to differentiate your right hand from your left when using the bucket and extending the arm. Each part of the machine, or each part of the movement, left, right, back, forward, controls different parts of these booms, and it takes a minute to get used to of what's controlling the thumb, what's controlling the actual bucket, because those are two separate things. And then, you know, you're out, you're left, you're right. But it's pretty intuitive. I love it. I think I made the right choice with going with a slightly bigger machine than the U35. I think this will kind of do everything I want it to, and I can still transport it with the equipment that I have, the truck, the trailer that I have. I think this was the right buy. I 100% think it was the right buy. All right, so we'll try this with the GoPro for a second. I don't know if you can hear me. We'll figure that out. But if you've never used one of these machines before, there's some really cool things about them. I mean, if you've never used a mini excavator at all, one of the cool things is, and apologize to the people who've used these a million times, you're probably not even interested in this, but just simple things like, you know, this is actually how you would be moving. So your left, right here, and then obviously you're straight. Obviously we're kind of cattywampus, so let's straighten ourselves out. So that's how you would actually straighten yourself out. So you can actually move it with foot controls down here, or you can actually do fine-tuned movements, you know, backwards and forwards, and then, you know, steering left to right. These machines are not quick. You're gonna get a whole, you know, 1.5 miles an hour. So at a very slow old person walking pace. Outside of that, every time you go to use the machine, really the proper thing to do is go ahead and actually drop the angle blade. So over here on my other side is the blade. So you almost want to anchor it down. You might not be able to see it, but you're going to see that the blade goes left to right. And then obviously we can anchor ourselves, and now we're in place. So the machine isn't going to get jostled around as much now. Outside of that, you have these multiple controls. Bear with me. Like I said, I've only been doing this for 30 minutes. But you've got your left, you've got your right, you've got your up, you've got your down. We got a phone call. Uh-oh, it's Keegan. Let's see what's going on. Well, that was kind of important. We had a drop-off issue, but he got it taken care of. Keegan is doing awesome right now, for any of you guys that follow the channel regularly. So bear with me, because I'm not a mini excavator pro at all, but I am a 30-minute certified mini excavator user. And I mean, so you got this forward, which is going to reach your bucket up, and it's going to reach your bucket down. Outside of that, let's go up a little bit, and then if you want to kind of reach out, get yourself situated left to right, you can go over here, and we're going to push forward. Pushing forward only actually brings this half of the boom down, but if you want to actually reach out, you actually have to tilt it to the left or right to bring it in. You're back, you're forward, like it's a multiple movement. So you see me hitting this and this to kind of reach my bucket out towards what I want to grab. Boom, we've got the edge of the refrigerator. So let's go ahead and use the thumb here, which is probably the most important feature on one of these if you can get one with a thumb. And we're gonna bring that in. Oh no! We lost a fridge! All right, we'll go back to that one later. It was barely hanging on there. I couldn't believe that thing was holding still anyway. So we'll go ahead and now grab this, open up the thumb all the way. We'll stretch out all one motion, hitting both of those. Boom. Grab the thumb, squeeze it, and we're gonna lift her back up. We got a nice firm grip on this washer, or no, dishwasher. And let me tell you, I moved this dishwasher by hand. This is the heaviest dishwasher I have ever lifted in my life. I even thought to myself, man, this thing would be really nice in my house. It was so heavy I dropped it on the concrete right afterwards. I don't think we're gonna be using that. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this bad boy down here. Let's see if we can just grab the corner of it. One other thing that is a huge feature on these Kubotas that is awesome is the door. You can basically just go cabless right away. It just pops up. This is one of the favorite features I have on my skidster, was because it doesn't swing out left to right. Because if it swung out left to right, you can't really use it when you're actually using a boom, because it could actually take out one of the windows, because you might hit it. And this glass down here is removable too, so let's close that bad boy up. And we're gonna go ahead, pick up this fridge, use that thumb, get nice and good grip on it. And we're also gonna curl the bucket in. So the thumb kind of gets to a point where it's been used as hard as it can. So then we use the bucket to really dig it in there. And we just keep digging it until we get a good grip. At least that's what I've been doing. Boom. Now we're gonna flare it out a little bit. Nice. If you've ever used a claw machine as a kid, you can do this. And might as well go ahead and see if we can use this boom to break up that refrigerator a little bit so it takes up less room. I don't know how much force. Oh yeah. That's pretty impressive. I know it's just a refrigerator, but... Alright, let's go clean up that mess. We gotta pick up our angle blade, straighten ourselves out a little bit. Let's go over and grab my refrigerator that I lost. Like I said, this got a little bit of tail swing, so we got to watch the back of the dumpster over here because we don't want to hit it. So let's just go ahead and dig into the side of this thing. It should pierce right through it. Maybe not. That is a strong refrigerator. If that's a Maytag, I highly suggest one. It ain't. Oh well, it can't fight the good fight for long. So let's go ahead and keep pulling that in. Curled it up. Oh, I'm running my own little scrap yard here. Pull it into ourselves so we don't hit the side of the shop. All right, and then we want to lift it up high enough that it can clear the edge of the dumpster. Boom. Let's go ahead and release that. Oops. Looks like we got a little bit of the garage, a little bit of the door. And just force that in there a little bit. Can't wait for some of you guys to talk about how much of a noob I am in this. But that's why practice makes perfect. Alright. There we go. All right, so as you can see, I'm no pro at running a mini excavator. Honestly, as I keep confessing, I've never used one. And some of you guys might see that as a little bit reckless. I literally just bought a very expensive piece of equipment for my business that I don't even know how to use. But again, practice makes perfect. I do plan to practice quite a bit. I'll be playing with junk. I'll be digging holes, probably in my own field over here, and then just piling them back up. The main reason we actually bought this was because we knew we wanted to do more demo work. And with demo work, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, I've done a lot of mobile home demos and garage demos with a skid steer and a grapple bucket, which is fine when you're in a rural area and you got a lot of room to work. You can kind of make a mess. Problem is, I'm getting a lot of calls now from mobile home park owners where there's only, 20, 30 feet, if that, maybe 15 feet between some of these mobile homes. And it would make it a lot easier and make the mess a lot smaller if I just could kind of keep everything within the mobile home. So I tear it down into the mobile home and then just basically pick up the scraps and transfer it into a dumpster, pretty stationary, not having to move around a lot. So that's the main reason we bought it, outside of obviously the rental business that I'm trying to grow. And instead of just ripping me in the comments, give me some tips and tricks on ways that I can maybe improve my skills, work on it. Like I said, some of you guys are going to see this as a very reckless purchase, buying something, no experience, but that's just kind of the way I've always been. I bought my mini excavator like this. I bought my trailer and truck. I will confess on record now, this trailer right here for my dumpster business was the first trailer I ever pulled behind a truck. Bought it, and it was the best decision I've ever made. I literally drove that home, and my wife watched me for 30 minutes try to back that thing into my driveway. For 30 minutes. And then from there, every morning, before everybody would start going to work, I would practice in the dark. So because I knew I'd be doing deliveries in the dark, I'd practice in the dark, backing that thing in. I can back that thing in now with my eyes closed. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking with this Mini X. It's a risk, obviously, but it's a calculated risk. I really focus on passive income, and being able to rent that to people and tell people how it works is something I want to do. It is no different than me having a house. A lot of you guys are going to say, you're nuts to rent that out to somebody. They'll just destroy it. They just destroy your property. You got to look past that if you want to be in a business like that, because at the end of the day, that's not my property. That's my business property. My business is to rent it, and that's what I'm doing. Because at the end of the day, that is a lot cheaper to buy and rent out, and the profit margin is much higher than for me to go buy a 6-unit apartment and rent that out. And I have a 6-unit apartment, and I'll tell you, the cash flow isn't nearly as high on that 6-unit apartment as it is with that. Is the apartment a better decision? Yeah, it's building equity. It has all kinds of other value adds that will grow me more wealth, but that is a cash flowing machine. So this is just me rambling at this point, but guys, I am so pumped to have this, and I hope you're excited. I want you to throw out some content ideas as well. We need to put this thing to work. We need to make some money with it. And let me know what you think. Did I make the wrong choice? Should I have bought an even bigger machine? Well, just keep in mind, I would have to buy a bigger trailer for that. So, or should I have gotten a smaller one and focused on smaller jobs? I think this will take down very, decent sized mobile homes, small garages, and even maybe very small houses this could tackle. So I think I made the right choice, but let me know what you think and give me some content ideas. We'll start pumping out content with this, and let me know if you have any questions about the machine. I'll do my best to answer it, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope you guys are too. Happy New Year. I know it's been a long time since I've posted, but it's been a wild month. I won't even get into it, but I am now a dad. A very scary entrance into the world my daughter had, but at the end of the day, everything worked out beautifully, and I'm back home. We'll be pushing out stuff content-wise, and I'll get back into a better rhythm. But I'm a very blessed man, and I appreciate all of you guys. A lot of you even reached out when you found out that I was having a little girl, and I can't thank you guys enough for, just feeling the need to reach out. Much love. Hope you like, subscribe, follow for future content, and I'll see you guys next time.